Have you ever noticed how the same emotion can make one person look powerful and another person look weak? Let me be more specific. Why is it that when a man raises his voice in a meeting, he's seen as decisive? But when a woman does it, she's considered too emotional. I've spent years thinking about this double standard, not as an observer, but as someone living it every single day. I am CEO of a meat manufacturing company, and yes, that surprises people. Not because of the industry, but because of who I am in it. A woman leading in a space that wasn't really designed with me in mind. If you picture a meat manufacturing company, you probably think of something tough, fast paced, high pressure. You'd be right. It's an industry where margins are tight, decisions are quick, and leadership looks very, let's say, very traditional. It's strong, assertive, very direct, and supposedly emotionally restrained. Or at least that's what we like to tell ourselves. Because here's what I've learned. It's not that men are less emotional than women. It's just that their emotions are socially more accepted. Think about it. Anger is often seen as leadership. Frustration, that's passion. And aggression is often mistaken for drive. But when a woman shows emotion, she's unstable, too sensitive, difficult, and my personal favorite, hysterical. Same human experience, different interpretation. And this is not just my personal experience. Research actually shows this pattern very clearly. In a study published in Frontiers in Psychology, participants were asked to describe leaders using their own words. 2,800 associations were collected. What's interesting? Male leaders were often described as dominant, decisive, assertive. Female leaders, emotional, empathetic, sensitive. And it doesn't stop there. Other research shows when women act in the same assertive way men do, they're far more likely to be described as bossy, difficult, or just too much. So it's not just behavior that's judged differently, it's perception, it's language. And what I find most interesting, it's the story that we attach to the exact same emotion. And that difference shapes everything. Who gets promoted? Who gets heard? Who gets trusted? And eventually, who gets to lead? I remember one moment early in my leadership. I started this leadership journey in this industry when I was 26 years old. I was very young. My partner and I, we flew out to California to pitch our product to a company who wanted to carry that product in their shelves. That meeting was attended by the general manager of that company, several department heads, and a couple of division leads. I was the only female attending this meeting. At the very beginning of my pitch, the general manager of that company felt the urge to compliment me on my looks. Very inappropriate. It made me feel uncomfortable instantly. I brushed it off with a quick thank you and I tried to go about my pitch. I did not know how to handle or express those emotions back then. So I tried to suppress them. What happened, that anger and frustration inside of me, they took over my entire pitch. They took over the entire room. And what's worse, they seemed to enjoy it. They seemed to enjoy that I was not able to express those emotions. Now, what stayed with me is not just what happened, it's how it made me feel. I internalized that. For the longest time, I thought, maybe I am too emotional. Maybe I need to adjust. Maybe great leadership means becoming less of myself. So I did what many women do. I softened my tone. I filtered my reactions. I questioned my instincts. I became very, very good at managing how I was perceived. We have normalized a very, very specific emotional range, one that looks very much like dominance and control, but rarely like empathy and visible reaction. The problem? That range is not natural. But more importantly, it's not neutral, it's gendered. Another experience similar to the one that I just shared with you, that was later on in my career, pretty much same setting. Again, we were in a meeting, this time much larger, several companies, and an associate of a company again commented something on my looks. And only this time, I looked at him in front of everyone and I said, "Are you done? Do you still need a minute or can we get back to business?" What happened here is that my comment served as a ventil. It allowed me to release, even if only just partially, some of that anger and frustration that built up in such a moment. At the end of my meeting, he approached me. He apologized. He said that he did not want to make me feel uncomfortable and that he understood how inappropriate his comment was. And he hoped that I could accept his apology. I did. And to this day, we work together. So that's when I realized I wasn't the problem. The framework was. Leadership has never been about fewer emotions. It's always been about how we understand and how we handle them. At the end of the day, workplaces are not emotion-free environments. They're full of emotion. Ego, ambition, fear, competition. We just don't call all of these emotions emotional. I want to talk about something that I think is the key to great leadership. Emotional responsibility. It means you don't deny what you feel, yet you don't let it control the room. You recognize your emotions, but you choose how to express them. Because there is a difference between being emotional and being led by your emotions. Great leadership lives right in that space. It's not about suppressing anger, but understanding it before you act on it. It's not about hiding frustration, but expressing it in a way that moves things forward. Because when women are told they're too emotional, the answer is often be less. But the real solution isn't less, it's better. Better awareness, better control, better expression. So leadership is not about removing emotion, it's about handling it with intention. And if we don't do that, there is a cost. It limits women, but not just women. It limits leadership itself. Because if we only accept certain emotions, we don't just exclude people, we exclude ideas, we exclude perspectives, we exclude better decisions, we exclude better outcomes. At some point in my career, I made a decision. I chose to let go of everything that I thought great leadership meant. And I chose to lead with empathy and patience first. I allowed myself to feel my emotions, but granted myself time to understand them before I acted on them. Because emotional expression without responsibility, that's not leadership, it's not strength, it's reaction. We have to ask ourselves, why are certain emotions or why do certain emotions count more as leadership than others? Why is anger more professional than empathy? Why is dominance more credible than awareness? And what if we extended that definition? Imagine a workplace where emotion isn't something you hide, but something you understand, something you're being encouraged to understand. Where leadership isn't about hiding reactions, but expressing them responsibly. Where strength is not about how little you feel, but how well you handle what you feel. That kind of leadership does not just include more people, it creates better leaders. Emotional responsibility is the key to better leadership. Because maybe the future of leadership is not about having fewer emotions. Maybe it's about finally allowing the full human spectrum. Thank you.